Right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. The date is Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. This is a regular meeting of the Kings County Board of Supervisors. This is a hybrid meeting. And so whether you're joining us by way of WebEx or teleconferencing, we thank you. For those interested in making comments during unscheduled, please use the raise your hand feature online and wait to be recognized, and you'll have up to 2 minutes to address the board. Members in the audience who filled out a speaker's card will be taken in the order they're received by the clerk. And then online speakers, just try to get our attention, and we'll try to get you into the system. Every vote today will be a verbal or voice vote so that members of the public can hear how each board member has voted after the motion and the second. And so first thing is to establish quorum. So if I can ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Here.
Richard Valley.
Here.
Doug Verboon.
Here.
Craig Peterson.
Here.
Richard Fagundes.
Here. Thank you, Madam Clerk. 5 members present. Everyone's here. We have established quorum. We will be able to conduct business. Now, if I can ask everyone to please rise as we invite Pastor Chad Fagundes, Koinonia Church, to deliver this morning's invocation and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, Chad. Try it again, Chad. Try it again, Chad.
Lord help us.
We're relying on technology to deliver the invocation.
That was me.
Ah. Chad, check and see if you're muted. Did we lose him? There's nobody there? All right, we need a volunteer. Nate, thank you very much. Standing in the back with your dark glasses on, you know. Nate, not to put you on the spot or anything, but we certainly thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling on me. Let us pray. Dear God, thank you for this day, and just thank you for all your many wonderful blessings. We are truly blessed to be here and living here in Kings County and in the United States of America. Just pray for your continued protection upon us. Give us your wisdom, Lord. Guide us and direct us. And we just thank you for our Supreme Court and the great decisions they have made recently. We ask that your protection would be upon them and all of our leaders, Lord. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Nathan. Now join me as we honor America by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Thanks, Nathan. I'll give you about 5 minutes notice next time, maybe. I appreciate it. With that, we'll move on to the next item, which is unscheduled appearances. Any person may directly address the board at this time on any item on the agenda or any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of this board. Speakers will be limited to 2 minutes. Madam Clerk, do we have a record of anyone that would like to address the?
I do not have any written record, and I have no speaker cards, and it appears that no one online has their hand raised.
No one at all. Last call, anyone? See no one come forward, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that is the reporting out from the closed session held on June 21st. Diane?
There are no issues to report out from the closed session from June 21st.
Very good, thank you. The next item is approval of the minutes from the meeting held on June 21st.
Move for adoption.
By Peterson, seconded by Verboen. Additional questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes. Let the record show the minutes stand approved unanimous by members present. Thank you very much. The next item is the consent calendar, and we have numerous items under the consent calendar this morning. So has everyone had an opportunity to review the consent calendar?
Move for approval.
Moved by Fagundes,
Second.
seconded by Verboen. Thank you very much. Additional questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes. Let the record show consent calendar stands approved unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving to regular agenda items. First item comes from behavioral health. And there are 3 items, and who's going to take it first? Okay, Katie.
Good morning, Chairman Nevs, Board of Supervisors, Katie Arntz, Deputy Director with the Behavioral Health Department. I'm here to request that you authorize the Director of Behavioral Health to sign the agreement with the California Mental Health Services Authority, also known as CalMESA, for the Psychiatric Inpatient Concurrent Review Program, retroactively effective January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2024. As the county's mental health plan, the Behavioral Health Department is responsible for reviewing and authorizing all psychiatric hospitalization stays for Kings County Medi-Cal beneficiaries prior to the issuance of Medi-Cal reimbursement to the hospital. Currently, this review takes place after the hospitalization when the hospital sends a treatment authorization request to the Behavioral Health Department. On May 31st, 2019, the California Department of Healthcare Services issued Behavioral Health Information Notice 19-026, which requires that mental health plans no longer conduct those reviews post-hospitalization, but conduct those reviews concurrently during the hospitalization, meaning that hospitals must submit a treatment authorization request to the department within 24 hours of the first day of hospitalization, and the department must review and authorize or deny that request within 24 hours, including weekends and evenings. In order to adhere to this request, the department is here requesting that you authorize the department to enter into that agreement with CalMESA, who's poised to conduct those concurrent reviews and authorizations for psychiatric inpatient hospitalizations on behalf of Kings County and other participating counties throughout the state. CalMESA is an established joint powers authority that conducts work on behalf of participating counties with the purpose of coordinating mental health services, and has been doing so on behalf of Kings County since 2013, including coordinating the work of the Central Valley Suicide Prevention Hotline and also the purchase of hospital state beds, to name a few. This agreement and resolution have been reviewed and approved by County Council as to form. It will cost $44,835 each fiscal year. The expenses and revenues have been included in the fiscal year 21-22 adopted budget in budget unit 420000, and are also included in the proposed fiscal year 22-23 budget. I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Katie. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Move for approval.
Moved by Fagundes,
Second.
seconded by Verboen. Any other follow-up? No follow-up questions. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley, Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Let the record show that item stands approved, 5 in favor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Lewis, you have the next one, Second Amendment to the agreement to the Kingsview.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Before I go on, I just wanted to acknowledge Cal Mesa and the tremendous services they've been doing for many of the counties. We have many new requirements, and they are providing huge value in the services they've been offering to the departments. Lisa Lewis, Kings County Behavioral Health. I'm here before your board this morning seeking approval for a budget change in the Second Amendment with Kingsview for a period of December 21st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022, and a Second Amendment to Agreement Number 21-035 with Kingsview to provide mental health services and mental health services and Mental Health Services Act programs for a period of July 1st, 2022 through July 30th, 2023. Kingsview provides specialty mental health services to the county's adult population, which is one of the largest service populations for the department. And this agreement will extend those services through Kingsview for a period of 1 year. The current contract between Kings County Behavioral Health and Kingsview is for the period of time from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. During the contract period, your board approved a First Amendment to the contract on December 21st, 2021, due to the need to transition children's specialty mental health services to a new service provider selected through RFP 2021-72. This amendment reduced the budget from $8,320,000 to $7,273,369. The Second Amendment is requesting to increase the total compensation for the fiscal year 2021-22 by $234,792 for a total amount of $7,508,161. The increased amount was agreed to by the department to compensate Kingsview for additional child psychiatry services requested by the department and crisis after hour calls and beneficiary access line call services, which are mandated by the state and have been provided by Kingsview at the department's request. The Second Amendment will also extend the agreement with Kingsview through fiscal year 22-23 for the services reflected in the agreement and equates to a maximum budget of $7,881,933 based on an agreement service in the scope of work. Expenses under this agreement and sufficient revenue for expenses were included in the department's fiscal year 21-22 adopted budget and fiscal year 22-23 recommended budget in budget unit 420000 mental health and 422200 Mental Health Services Act. There is no impact to the general fund. This agreement has been reviewed and approved by County Council as to form, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Questions, comments, concerns about the amendments?
This is in agreement with everybody?
Yes.
Very good. I'll make a motion to approve.
I do have a question.
Okay.
I'd second that based
Okay.
on some answers, but, through the contract, have we been able to, acquire a better understanding of where we are with the contract, and have you become more comfortable with,
Yeah.
the financial reporting?
There was a lot of conversation that went late into the week last week. And yes, we settled on a number that we felt was appropriate, that we are reimbursing for services that were required by the state and we are in agreement with. We have also determined that we will go forward for 1 year. And during that time, we'll be in an RFP process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no further questions, second.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? The item's been moved by Verboen, seconded by Peterson. And if there are no other questions or comments, will the chair please call the roll?
Joe Nevs?
Will the chair call the roll? Well, you notice that?
Yeah.
The clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs?
Yeah. You're moving up. I know it.
Joe Nevs?
Yes.
Richard Valley?
Aye.
Doug Verboen?
Yes.
Craig Peterson?
Aye.
Richard Fagundes?
Yes. Let the record show that item stands approved, 5 in favor. Thank you very much. And then who has the last, you got to take the last one too? They consider the amendment for the professional services regarding the electronic health records? Katie, or? Sorry. Okay. We can send you an email. Electronic text.
You.
We can send you a text. We have the technology. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you so much.
For pitch hitting today.
We got it. Good morning again, Chairman Nev's Board of Supervisors, Katie Ernst. I'm here to request that you approve an amendment to the agreement with Kingsview Professional Services to provide the electronic health records system services for a term of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023 for a maximum of $506,835. The board approved the current agreement between Kings County Behavioral Health and Kingsview on May 18th, 2021 for development, implementation, and ongoing support of Cerner, which is the department's electronic health records system for the provision of specialty mental health services and substance use disorder treatment services. This is the system that both ourselves and our contracted treatment providers utilize for the provision of services countywide. Cerner is approved by the state of California as both a system that can be used to provide services that bill Medi-Cal and also drug Medi-Cal. And it also is able to provide all of the state reporting that we are required to do on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual basis to the state of California and the federal government. Under this agreement, Kingsview is responsible for maintaining the data, maintaining the system and the contract or the agreement with Cerner as the host of the electronic health records system. They're also responsible for setting up and training all users in the system. That's not only county employees, but also our contractors and their contracted staff employees, around 200 users of the system throughout the county. This amendment would extend the agreement for an additional year and has been reviewed and approved by County Council as to form. Again, it's an agreement in the amount of $506,835 for fiscal year 2022, 2023, and is in the recommended budget unit 422-500, which is Behavioral Health Administration. I previously oversaw the electronic health record system as a program manager, so I'm available to answer any questions you might have.
Good, thank you, Katie. Questions, comments, or concerns?
There's no questions, comments, move for adoption.
Moved by Peterson.
I'll second. Third.
Seconded by Fagundes. Thank you very much. Additional questions? None? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes. Let the record show that item stands approved. Thank you very much, Katie. Thank you, Dr. Lewis. The trifecta from the health, from behavioral health has worked that well. Moving on to the next item, Department of Finance, consider a resolution establishing the appropriation limits for the fiscal year 22-23. And Rob, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Rob Knutson with the Department of Finance. Here before you this morning requesting approval of a resolution establishing our annual appropriation limit, which is also referred to as our GAN limit. Pursuant to Government Code Section 7910 and Article 8B of the California Constitution, each year we are required to establish appropriation limits for certain locally controlled revenues like property taxes. Collections of these taxes cannot exceed this limit. We adjust this limit annually by local population increases and the statewide increase in personal income. The limit for fiscal year 22-23 is increasing by 1.0687%, which reflects a negative 0.63 population increase and a 7.55 increase in personal income growth, with these figures being provided to us by the state. The new limit continues to have no impact to our county. Taxpayer refunds would only occur if the proceeds from these taxes exceed the appropriation limit. And as you can see, we're currently about $142 million below that limit, and it continues to grow. Last year, we were at 132, so pretty far from that limit. And so with that, I just request approval of this resolution.
Thank you, Rob. Questions, comments?
There are no question, comments, move for approval.
Moved by Fagundes,
Second.
seconded by Peterson. Thank you very much. Additional questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes. Let the record show that stands 5 in favor. Thanks, Rob. The next item comes from the Elections Department where Loopy killed about a tree and a half, a ream of paper per book. Man, you know how to generate some paperwork.
That was per copy, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning, sir.
Members of the board, Lupe Villa with the Elections Department. I come before you to ask you to accept the statement of vote for the June 7th, 2022 statewide direct primary election. Pursuant to California Election Code 15372, as the Register of Voters for Kings County, I'm required to present and submit a certified copy of the statement of the vote to the governing board, which is you, the board. So before you have the statement of vote, it's a very lengthy document, about 700 pages or so. Before I continue, I would like to share some statistical information that we had during the June 7th, 2022 statewide direct primary election. On June 7th, we had 61,588 registered voters in Kings County. During this election, we experienced a 28.8% turnout, which is a very low turnout for the county. Over 62,000 ballots were mailed out, 17,743 ballots were returned and processed, and the following is a breakdown of receipt of those ballots, meaning the source of delivery to my department. 7,261 ballots were dropped off at ballot drop boxes. We had 11 locations throughout Kings County. 6,357 were dropped off by U.S. Postal Service. 1,746 were dropped off at the Elections Department. 1,259 were dropped off at our vote centers. We had 7 centers, 2 centers open for 10 days of early voting, and 5 centers open for 3 days of early voting for a total of 11 days of voting for the June 7th primary. 4 ballots were faxed to our office, and those are done through the REBBM and UOCAVA process. Those are programs that are offered to our voters that have accessibility issues or to our military and overseas folks that are serving our country. And 1,116 folks voted in person at one of our centers or our 7 centers. I would like to add that this election was a success. However, we did experience a very low turnout. We also experienced and suffered internal issues that were addressed and without any impact to the election results. So therefore, I present to you the statement of vote as you know, conducted during this election. So the internal issues were minimal. There was no impact to the end results of the election. I would like to give special thanks to my staff, Victor, Sonia, Manuel, and Paula, for assisting me and for working hard, dedicating themselves to the office, and for their commitment to the County of Kings and for performing their elections duties with integrity and transparency and honest. Thank you to all the staff that assisted with the election duties, such as roving, ballot retrieving, ballot preparation, deployment of equipment, and to the poll workers who helped us out during this election. And lastly, thanks to all the voters of Kings County who casted their vote, for embracing our new election model and for adhering to the California Election Code and the code and rules of the state and county. With that said, I would like to congratulate Mr. Rusty Robinson, who will be replacing Mr. Craig Peterson. And representing District 4, Ms. Sarah Hacker, who will be our new district attorney effective 2023. The following seats went unopposed. Sheriff, Mr. Dave Robinson. The assessor is Mrs. Lee. Superintendent of Schools, Ms. Tar Barlow. And Mr. Barboon, District 3. All the mentioned seats have earned a 4-year term and will be conducting a November runoff for District 1. I ask that you please accept the June 7, 2022 statewide direct primary election certified statement of the vote as submitted. And that concludes my report. I'm available to answer any questions.
Good. Thank you, Loopy. Questions, comments?
Can I get a recount?
Sure can. There's always a process for that.
How many more pages is that going to cost?
Well, it depends on the race you want to read.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Before we accept this, you want to change your mind and stick around another 4 years?
I think it's too late, my friend.
yeah, a member of the audience might have some input on it.
Right?
Anything else?
He might want to run for the hills too.
Sorry?
He might want to run for the hills.
Yeah, he
Hey,
might change
there
it.
you go. You might want to.
Oh, thank you, Loopy. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir. Any other questions,
No,
concerns?
thank you and your staff, doing a great job. Your staff is always saying they carry you a lot, but you know, I don't understand that.
They do. I feel they do. I'm very thankful for the staff we have. I'm
Yeah.
very happy. We're working hard, making sure that we, perform and we deliver what we were hired to do, which is
Yeah.
an honest election. So.
Very good.
So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would move to accept the certified statement of the vote.
Very good.
And I'll second that.
Thank you
Moved by
so much.
Peterson, seconded by Verboen.
All right, thank you so much. Hope you guys have a good day.
Well, you want to wait for the vote? Because it
Yeah.
may not.
Yeah.
You act like this is going to be automatic or something. You are the register of voters, you know, this could change. Any other questions or comments? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Let the record show that stand 5 in favor. So you're lucky this time, you know, sometimes.
So much. Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
it could be a split decision one of these days.
Well, I don't know. Let's see
Yeah.
what happens in November. I'll be back.
Okay.
So, thank you so much, guys. You guys take care.
Next item comes from administration, the American Rescue Plan payroll cost. And Kyria, you have the item?
Good morning, board members. Kyria Martinez, Assistant County Administrative Officer. County Administration is seeking approval to use the American Rescue Plan Act funds, ARPA, to pay for COVID-19 related payroll expenses incurred since the inception of ARPA funds. Since the start of the pandemic, the county has created a payroll code to track all payroll costs associated with the pandemic. This is a great way for the county to track and keep records of costs related to and not limited to time spent creating COVID-19 exposure letters, departmental COVID-19 liaison duties between departments, and or working on anything staff has devoted to mitigating and responding to COVID-19 in the workplace. In March of 2021, ARPA was signed into law, offering financial relief and resources for continued mitigation of fiscal impacts as a result of COVID-19. To continue to help relieve department-specific funding, realignment, and county general fund resources, it is being recommended to fund the COVID-19 related payroll expenses with ARPA funds. The county is a 1,600 plus employer and must abide to Cal OSHA guidelines and comply with requirements set forth to provide employees workplace safety related to exposures of COVID-19. This has required the county to create programs in place for all employees. The final rule of uses for ARPA fund clearly defines responding to public health emergency, including COVID-19 mitigation and prevention as eligible use of ARPA funds. The overall cost to cover the COVID-related payrolls expenses since March 2021, when ARPA funds were eligible to date as of 6/20/2022, is $1,362,490. We are requesting that these funds be placed into an ARPA trust fund that can be used in the future for any economic uncertainty. The ARPA committee has met and supports this request. At this time, our recommendation is to authorize the use of American Rescue Plan Act funding in the amount of $1,362,490 for the COVID-19 related payroll expenses to be allocated to the American Rescue Plan Act Trust for Economic Uncertainty. And because it is from a trust to another trust, it does not require a budget action transfer form.
Very good. Thank you. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Question, Mr. Chair, just a couple.
Supervisor Valley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm going to ask a question, but in the meantime, can someone look up after, if the 1.3 gets approved, which I'm sure it's going to be, what's going to be the balance left of our ARPA funds? And so in the meantime, I read this a couple of times and I'm trying to understand this. So it says that these costs were absorbed, meaning already absorbed by every department. So is this transaction just saying, here's what it would have cost us, so we're going to take that cost and put it in a reserve account? Or,
Correct.
so, okay.
Yes.
So this isn't saying approve the 1.3 and then we're going to divvy it out to the departments?
No.
Okay, so then it goes on to say that, well, we're going to make this, we're going to direct staff to move this into the reserve account right now for payroll costs. But then it goes on to say that this will be put away for any economic uncertainty. So 6 months from now, if, let's say there was a turnaround, the pandemic, it came back, then the board could be reminded we have this 1.3 million and we could use it for anything, even if it was small business grants again.
Absolutely.
So that's what's happening today. Okay.
We're moving it from what we've already incurred the cost to a trust fund. We could,
Got it.
divvy it back to the departments. However, we've had those discussions and we believe that the best course of action is to move that into a trust fund for future economic uncertainties.
I'm seeing the sheriff shake his head. No, I'm playing. He gave the thumbs up. Okay, and then was the health department the biggest I don't want to use the word bill, but did the health department absorb the biggest costs or have the biggest impact to their budgets? Or was it public safety?
It was really just kind of divvied it up amongst the entire county. There wasn't really one that kind of stuck out more than others.
Okay. And then what would be our balance remaining for the board to keep talking about the use of
14.1 million.
14.1? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Chair. And if there's no questions, I'm happy to make the motion and move forward as presented.
Okay. Second. Moved by Valley, seconded by Verboen. Additional questions or comments? For accounting? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes. Let the record show that item stands approved, 5 in favor. Thank you very much and good luck. Next, a couple of items comes from the Health Department. Rosemary, good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Chairman, Supervisors. Rosemary Rand, Department of Public Health. I'm before you today regarding the renewal of the annual agreement with Dr. Milton Teskey for professional medical services and to serve in the role of Public Health Officer as is required by Health and Safety Code 101000 and 101460. Dr. Teskey has served in this role since July 1st of 2016. The Public Health Officer serves as the Medical Director of the department and is responsible for the public health, safety, and control of diseases in Kings County, which includes tuberculosis control, communicable disease control, the Child Health and Disability Prevention Program services, and to serve as the Registrar for Births and Deaths in the county. Dr. Teskey is the medical contact for the California Department of Public Health for the local health jurisdiction. In addition, Dr. Teskey performs identified pre-employment physicals for the county. Dr. Teskey will be paid a rate of $8,000 per month, equaling a total of $96,000 annually for the fiscal year 22-23. His services are paid out of health realignment and split among 4 cost centers and have been appropriated for this next budget, 22-23. We respectfully request your board approve this agreement with Dr. Teskey effective July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
That's a quick question.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anyone else apply?
No, so it's actually a good question. The health officer, I'm doing some evaluation of our current health officer duties. And then we would need to open up a recruitment. Currently, the position's filled with Dr. Teskey as a part of this agreement. If we are interested in going into a full recruitment, we can do that, but I need to evaluate the scope of the work that's done by the health officer. Right now, we have a part-time health officer. There was some evaluation of wanting a full-time health officer. So there has to be some due diligence in looking at what is required in order to do an open recruitment.
So,
But I haven't had anyone else interested.
but it didn't go out at all, public?
No, not since I've started in February.
Okay, this was coming off a 2-year appointment or a 1-year appointment?
So 1 year.
$96,000 in public monies deserves being put out there publicly. I mean, to just keep it to one person, that doesn't feel transparent to me. I believe that this should at least been put out. I know over the last few years, there's been a few doctors who live and operate in Kings County who've asked about this. They ask about it after they read that Dr. Teskey got reappointed. They find out about it after the fact. And I think the last time this came up, I brought up the same point. So I'm just not sure why you wouldn't put this out.
So honestly, it's mandated and I need a health officer for the next year.
I get that.
However, I hear what you're saying. It would be a requirement because I would want to put an RFP up that's very clear on what we need. Currently, we have someone filling in, doing the work, and I'm open to taking it and opening it up. I'm not sure if it's a recruitment or if RFP, because usually health officers are an HR recruitment in other counties. So I'd need to evaluate whether this is a RFP for services versus a recruitment for a position. And then we would open that up. However, it's going to take some time. It took a lot of time just to renew a contract.
Right.
So I really need to evaluate the capacity of what we need in the county. And I couldn't do it in the 4 months when I just took over. I can do it in this next year.
So are you asking for this to be a one-year appointment? Or are you saying that?
I'm
within
asking
the
for
year-
a one-year agreement with the year to evaluate opening it up and doing the full recruitment.
Okay. Okay, so, because again, even at the highest part of the pandemic, when Ed Hill was our health director, Ed was lead on this. We've seen Dr. Teskey twice since the start of the pandemic. And again, that's a lot of money for that. I get that. We're mandated to have one, but that's a lot of money just to fill in something on paper. I didn't see him personally. I spoke about this every time this comes up, and I was hoping that this was going to be a little bit more transparent. There's a lot of money to hold back. I mean, it's more than what we get paid, and we got to get elected to this position. So please, yeah, bring that back next time. And please put it out there.
No, I hear what you're saying. I really do. And I agree.
I know you just got here. This isn't all on
I'm
you.
just trying to figure out what we need to do to hold it together until I can open it up and have
It's
some
not
time to
all on you.
recruit.
It's not all on you. These are public comments dating back the last 3 years. And I understand that you're fairly new here as well to this. So,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Additional questions or comments?
If there are no questions or comments, I'll approve the agreement with Milton Teskey, MD.
I think you make a motion.
If there are no questions or comments, I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with Milton Teskey, MD.
I understand. Moved by Verboen, seconded by Peterson. Yeah, so any other questions or comments? Concerns? Thank you very much. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Yeah.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Let the record show that item stands approved, 5 in favor. Thank you and good luck to you and Dr. Teskey. And do you have an update?
I'm on again, yeah.
Yes.
Quick update, COVID-19. The total number of COVID cases for last week was 407. The week prior was 394. The majority of the cases are the Omicron BA1 and 2, although we are noting a 20% positivity among BA4 and 5 subvariants. And of the BA4 and 5 subvariants, they're contributing to reinfections. So you're seeing more people get COVID again, even though they just had it not that long ago. Kings County remains in the high orange classification for community transmission this week, according to the CDC, and most counties in the San Joaquin Valley are in the high transmission rate currently. Hospitalized cases have remained steady. Current local hospitalizations are at 8 cases, with 5 are Kings County residents, none are in the ICU. Testing continues in the county at various locations and also at the Public Health Department. Last week, there were a total of 754 tests at Kings County Department of Public Health and a total of 2,992 total in the county, which is a 17.6 positivity rate. Last week was 12.5% positivity. We continue to hand out rapid antigen test kits to residents, businesses, and various agencies who work with the public, as well as community-based organizations. Over the last week, 438 vaccinations were given in Kings County, and residents can get vaccinations at the health department, local pharmacies, and several pop-up clinics around the county. The current schedules are on our website. We're providing vaccinations to the 6-month to 5-year-old age group this week in our clinics, and all the reporting and extra details of the data is on our website at kcdph.com. As always, we'd like to remind everyone to stay home when you're sick, get tested if experiencing COVID-like symptoms, and get vaccinated or boosted if you have not. Masks continue to provide protection, and we strongly encourage wearing them when in crowded settings, and they're still required in healthcare settings. I'm available for any questions or concerns.
Good, thank you. Any questions or comments? You go get a booster. They do have new needles now. I think they finally ran out of the old ones.
They sharpened them.
Well, they sharpened them, but they were only about 2 inches long. So, yeah, it made it a lot easier.
I got a quick question.
Yes.
I just remember late last night, I saw a headline that a few thousand flights got canceled. Was that COVID related? Could we expect?
No, actually, the
Travel.
flights being canceled, I think, is because they don't have enough pilots.
Correct.
Okay.
Is a lot of it. We are seeing more COVID cases, but I haven't heard as many from air travel, but we are seeing cases popping up from people going trips. There's a lot of people out, but I think it's more the workforce.
Got it. Thank you.
You can be
I
out
think it-
now and get a 4-day, 3-day weekend, turn it into a 4 or 5-day weekend real quick.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, aircraft was, air controllers as well. They're having some shortages, so. With that, thank you very much. Have a good, 4th of July weekend. With that, the next public hearing is set for 10, so we'll move on down to board member announcements and see if we can consume about 15 minutes to get us to the 10 o'clock hour. So, Supervisor Fagundes.
I am good this week. I haven't done much.
Well, you did the pork is great.
I don't want to claim that.
You don't?
No,
You could
I had
open,
a lot of help.
you had a lot of help.
I was-
Congratulations on that. That was the first time in a couple of years, and to
Yes.
have that event come back and to have it at the Fraternal Hall was, I think, another step to normalcy. And,
I understand there was only, I think Doug's the one that mentioned there's about 1,000.
No, I didn't go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
heard it was 1,000 people.
yeah, that's what,
Well, we fixed enough for 1,500, but in the past, there's been 2,000.
oh, no, exactly.
So
So,
it's down, but the heat had a factor for this too.
correct, yeah. Well, thank you for doing that, and thank you for volunteering your time down there, and I know all those guys appreciate it, and a few of them that you tease may not, but the rest of them appreciate it. So, thanks for doing that.
We don't have to go there.
No, no. Supervisor Valley.
Yes, Chair, I just want to thank my good friend and congratulate Danny Trujillo. He's the 31 years in Corcoran at our grocery store. He went from food for less to cost less, all the changes in that same store, worked his way to become the manager about 3 years ago, starting off from the bottom. He's been a big contributor to the community, very hard worker. He's the lead in Operation Gobble. He's a real Operation Gobble every year as he spends a month before the day when we're giving away the turkeys. He's the one who's tracking down enough turkeys to buy them and make sure we have them and then allow us to even store them for a couple of weeks in a storeroom. No one else is going to do that. So it's going to be tough to see him go, but he had a retirement party in Corcoran Saturday evening. And I want to thank Catherine and Diane for helping with a nice certificate of recognition for that I presented on behalf of the county to him. So thank you. Congratulations to him.
Good, very good. Thank you. Supervisor Boone.
Wednesday last week, I attended the LAFCO meeting, K-CAPTA CART bus meeting, and also our King County Association of Governments meeting on Wednesday, City Hall of Hanford. And then on Thursday morning, we had the Housing Authority meeting. We all attended there. And then 11, I had a Sequoia Walnut Growers meeting. I attended in Visalia. And then on Monday, all morning, we had a Regional Policy Council meeting, regular meeting, and then we had the REAP, which is the housing meeting that morning. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Good, thanks. Supervisor Peterson.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just a couple things. Just notify everyone that the metropolis of Armona is getting another stop sign. There's flashing lights.
Yeah, four-way stop.
Right? In Armona. Number 2. So be advised, you can't just haul ass through Armona.
Where at?
You got to stop and shop. Huh?
Where at?
Front Street and
14th.
14th. Yeah. Then continue work on air district issues. Looking forward to an update. Assemblyman Arambula continues to push forward a bill to remove some of the authority from local air districts. As I had reported before, he tried to get traction on a statewide effort. Everybody declined, and it has now made its way just to the Central Valley Air District. It's a personal vendetta and a really poor excuse for legislation. But unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with. So that's all I have.
Very good, thank you. For me, Bobby and I went to Visalia and took care of the Kings Tulare Master Plan on Aging. Second meeting of that group, and we continue to collect data and continue to focus on the goals and strategies of the future of the aging with dignity type processes. And so we'll continue to work through that. LAFCO that Supervisor Boone talked about. We did approve the extension of services. And we're having them about once a month, seems like so far. Some of them, the last few have been through the city of Hanford. And so we also discussed an administrative approval process because that is pretty well reviewed by the city and everybody else before it gets to us, and it's pretty much administrative. So staff is working on that so that we don't hold up a resident that's might be out, might not have any source of water. So we're looking at that. At the CART meeting, we did extend the hybrid meeting operations to be able to allow people through the AB 361 process that allows for virtual and in-person meeting. We also approved the CNG maintenance contract with Clean Energy. They've had the contract for a few years and have done a great job. And then also approved a contract with Enterprise to expand the van pool service. Driver shortages continue to be a growing problem, even though we have two certified instructors through the process, and we're able to get 3 to 5 drivers certified about every 5 or 6 weeks. But unfortunately, we still have to shut down routes due to not having enough drivers in the system. So we're going to be looking at that in the next few months to be able to balance staffing with demand. At the KCAG meeting, we did approve all of the Transportation Development Act funding and accepted the performance reports, audits, and also approved out-of-state travel for Supervisor Raboon to go to Washington, D.C. We did cut that in half, though, because we only bought the one-way ticket. So well, we don't mind sending him, but he's on his own to bring his get his way back. So we'll see how that works out.
It's like taking a dog to the pound and gets loose. He shows up anyways. He comes back home.
Yeah, so we'll continue to work on that. But I thought it was a good way to cut down on the budget. Wednesday's storm created a 12-hour power outage in Stratford. That's the first time in about 40 years that we've had been without power for a 12-hour term. There was about 600 people or so, or not people, but 600 meters that were out. And PG&E had a lot of damage caused by the storm. There was a large traffic accident out on 198 with fires and several injuries. And at the end of the day, damage to trees, roofs, and fences for a late season storm like that was a lot of damage. Still haven't heard too much from ag, but I did see a few trees go down and a few limbs. So I want to thank all of the first responders and everything they did out there. It's always a scary process when you're out on the highway and you got dust and smoke and cars driving way too fast and coming up onto things. And so thank them for everything they did. Housing Authority, as Supervisor Boone talked about, everybody was there. Also had a meeting with Adventist Health, and they have a new mobile health clinic. And so if you have any ideas on how to deploy that health clinic and looking for strategies to better serve Kings County, locations, processes, anything that you want to do to try to get that mobile clinic into the public. Kathy made the last bond oversight presentation at the Lemoore High School Board of Trustees, closing out all of the bond projects for the Lemoore High School. The library remodel, construction of a new culinary arts wing, additional classrooms were all part of that bond issue. Also, the swimming pool remodel and the stadium upgrades and the additional tennis courts completed all of the upgrades on that campus, and Debbie Murrow's retirement. So worked out very, very well for her as she was able to accomplish all of that as she retired. Did some announcing at the Lemoore Little League 11 and under playoff games that were held Friday and Saturday. Very talented Porterville team took the banner, and they'll probably be back with sectionals in the mid-July. Set up the trailer for the Lemoore seniors yesterday. They'll start selling fireworks at noon today. but fireworks are pretty expensive, and I'm not sure, Chief, how many stands we have in the county, but it didn't seem like there was as many. 16? And what's a normal year? Oh, so, yeah, it looks a little bit short, but the county locations will start about noon today. City will open up at noon on the 1st. And good luck and keep safe and sane with all of the fireworks. And then last night, the Kings County Historical Society meeting that talked about trains and talked about train robberies and all of the history in Kings County. And it was very well attended for the heat and everything. June Dairy Month, we had ice cream and I took Kathy a little cupcake that I didn't think she'd want, but she ate every bit of it. She didn't share none of it. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on my skills a little bit. With that,
Was it old school Western train robberies? Is that what you guys were like?
no, it was Armona train robbery. When a couple of guys came into the Armona train depot and took the money. So, yeah.
Took a couple cases of peaches.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's, Armona's pretty amazing. The
Correct.
history of that railroad would be, amazing to relive, just all of the, the Ito fruit packing plant and so much that happened in Armona. All the folks that came out in the Dust Bowl that worked through that. Cool story.
And it was kind of a hub that kind of went on out to Riverdale and Lanier. And so, there was a lot of activity down through that part of the world. And it was kind of a neat to see some of the old maps, hear some of the old stories. And so it was a neat time. Nobody stalled enough. Let's see. Kyria, you want to talk about board correspondence, upcoming events and future agenda items? And you have about 8 minutes.
Yes, Mr. Chair. For board correspondence, we have none. For upcoming events, we have a food truck takeover at the Hidden Valley Park in Hanford on today, actually at from 11 to 2. The city of Hanford is hosting movies in the park on July 1st. Admission is free. The Addams Family will be shown, and the movie begins at dusk at Centennial Park. There will be a 5K and 3K run walk on July 4th from 7:45 to 11 at the Veterans Memorial Park located at 350 West Bush Street in Lemoore. Tickets start at $30 and can be purchased online. The first 300 5K and 3K paid registered finishers will receive a 4th of July race medal. Learn to build a model airplane/car at the Lemoore Library located at 457 C Street in Lemoore is being held every Tuesday in July, starting July 5th from 4 to 5. Model and paint will be provided. However, you must register to participate at the IT department at kingscountylibrary.org or just call the library at 559-852-4004.
Is there age limit? Craig looking for something to do.
There is no age limit. Adventist Health Community Garden at Hanford will have master gardeners provide a free workshop to the public with step-by-step instruction on soil your garden on July 8th from 8 to 9 a.m. The city of Hanford is hosting a drive-in theater at the Hanford Plunge on July 10th at 7:30 p.m. Come enjoy the movie Encanto while you swim. The movie begins at dusk. Cost is $3 per person. There will be a public safety appreciation luncheon hosted by the Greater Kings County Chamber of Commerce and Hanford Chamber of Commerce on August 10th at the Hanford Civic Auditorium located on Doughty Street in Hanford. The event will take place at 12 and tickets are $20. Tickets can be purchased on Eventbrite, online, or through the website, thehanfordchamber.com. For upcoming agenda items for July 12th, we do have a big agenda coming up. The child support will be bringing a inter-county plan of cooperation agreement between Kings County Child Support Services and the Kings County Information Technology Department. District Attorney has one item for consideration to approve the acceptance of grant funds for the Child Advocacy Center program. Finance has one item to establish booking fee rates for fiscal year 22-23. Fire has one item considering the authorized firearm purchase for arson investigators. Health has 3 items. Consider to approve a retroactive agreement with Valley Voices for COVID-19 education and prevention services. consideration for professional services contract for 22-23, and a COVID-19 update. Human Resources has an item for a new classification for assistant assessor, clerk recorder, in the assessor clerk recorder department. Probation has one item to enter an agreement with Champions Recovery Alternative Program. And Public Works has two items, in agreement with Mark Thomas to prepare the county roadway safety sign audit report, and also the county roadway improvement project notice of completion. And that concludes my report.
Good, thank you. That ate up 3 minutes.
Hey, Mr.
Any
Chairman.
questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, since we got a minute, could we ask the fire chief to give an update or a reminder to the public on what the penalties are for the illegal fireworks? I know you talked about the safe and sane, but they started, as you know, about 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
Starting to get really bad in all the cities.
Sure. We expect the use of illegal fireworks to continue on the trend that it always has. We particularly have a problem out in the county areas with the use of illegal fireworks. The fee starts at $500 first offense and then can compound based upon the number of times a person continues to use illegal fireworks. The state of California continues to have a huge problem with the influx of illegal fireworks from Nevada. Just down in Simple, that's where they come from. It appears again this year that even though there's monetary fines and things that are in place, that they're just not getting, those type of things just aren't getting the message out to the people that use these fires or these fireworks illegal. So we continue to have a problem. I expect the problem will be as expected. The only hopeful thing is that it's actually on a Monday this year, and it tends to be a little bit less when people have to go to work the next day. So that's our expectation. But we've already had a few fires that we believe were caused by the use of illegal fireworks. And just because they say safe and sane doesn't mean that the safe and sane fireworks can't hurt you also, and they can also start fires. So it continues to be a problem in the state of California.
Thank you, Chief. I like what the city of Hanford did, their council did. They got really stringent with theirs a couple months ago. You see any reason for the county to take a look at the language for the future on our ordinance and maybe consider some of those stiffer penalties that city of Hanford just imposed?
Yeah, I think we need to take a look at some of the more aggressive communities within the state of California, what they're doing. Some of them, I've seen fines as stiff as $2,500 to $3,000 first offense. So we have to address that and bring that forward to your board to actually make a determination where we need to go. But I believe we do need to increase it. We have to get the deterrent out there somehow. So
Was one of those penalties, or I read right, was if I'm renting out a home and my renter gets caught doing illegal fireworks on my property, then I have the ability to tear up that rental agreement and get rid of them? Because the owner of the home is actually the one who's going to get fined and not the renter.
yeah, I'm not sure, Supervisor Valley, of being able to evict the person, but the property owner is the responsible party and they will get the citation. So, and as usual, and I hate to say this, alcohol is usually involved, so it can involve law enforcement and along those lines too. So it can tend to be a very messy situation and continues to be a problem for us.
Alcohol? Alcohol's involved with fireworks?
Well, that's why Mondays are better than Saturdays.
Okay.
My God. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then the fire marshal weapon, when Mike Burton was the fire marshal, we gave him a weapon, but we only gave him one bullet.
Yeah.
Was that still going to be the recommendation from the sheriff?
Well, and it was a blank, so.
Yeah, well, so we'll have to reevaluate that. We don't mind buying the weapon, but sometimes the ammunition is, yeah.
Overrated.
We still have a minute. You want to read the closed session up? Well, thank you. That was a great suggestion. We do, after the public hearing, we will move to closed session and take up two items. First one is a significant exposure to litigation and a personnel matter regarding the Human Resources Director. And what time have you got? 10 o'clock. Very good. So we've wasted time. I mean, we've invested enough time to get us to where we need to be for a public hearing from Department of Finance in order to introduce an ordinance to establish the booking fee rate for fiscal year 2022 and 2023 and waive the first reading, even though it's short, and I think Rob could read it pretty fast, but he's still. Rob, good morning once again. Thank you very
Again,
much.
thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Here again before you this morning, presenting the introduction of an ordinance establishing our jail booking fee rate for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Each year, Government Code Section 29550 requires us to calculate and set this rate based on previous year amounts. The calculated fee for 22-23 is $150 per booking. This is an increase of $15 from the previous year's charge of $135. The change is mainly due to an increase in building depreciation costs as a result of final completion of and capitalization of our jail construction projects. We used to be able to charge this fee pretty much, the only use of it in the past 10 years has been able to charge convicted defendants, add it to their fees and fines. But a year ago, the state took away that ability. So even though we really don't have any current use for this rate, we are still required to calculate it and formalize it each year in an ordinance. If for some reason the state eliminates our funding, our annual funding, which is about $120,000 per year, we would be able to use this rate and charge half of this rate basically to the cities for their booking. So it is still necessary to establish this rate, even though it's not really used. So with that, I'm asking you to consider approving this introduction of the ordinance establishing our booking fee rate for the 22-23 fiscal year and waive the first reading.
Good. Thank you, Rob. Are there questions or comments of staff before we open the public hearing? Hearing or seeing none, we'll open the public hearing for the purpose of receiving testimony regarding the ordinance establishing the booking fee for 2022 and 2023. Does the clerk have any record of anyone wishing to address the public hearing?
I do not have any written testimony. I have no speaker cards, and it doesn't appear anyone online has their hand raised.
Very good. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there anyone in chambers? Seeing no one come forward, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back for action by the board.
Move was presented.
Moved by Verboen. Who's the second?
Second.
Second by Valley. Thank you very much. Additional discussion? Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley, Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson, Richard Fagundes.
Yes. Let the record show that item stands approved, 5 in favor. And Rob, you didn't have to read it once again.
Hey, great.
That concludes all of the open session items on today's agenda. We will move into closed session, take up those 2 items that were already announced. And then I also bring your attention to the California Community Housing Authority Agency meeting at 11 and 11:15. The board will meet as in-home supportive services public authority. So with that, thank you very much, everyone. Please have a safe and sane 4th of July. And we'll see you on July 12th. July 5th meeting has been canceled. Thank you very much.